we must ask the customer to pay more for less purchases that happen. And SALGA and municipalities, unfortunately, are not for that. We do not support that. And we're saying there's too much burden hanging over South African customers with recent RCAs as well that I talked about. And also, we are saying if Eskom is going to be forecasting higher sales, even if they know from 2012 the sales have been declining, and then later come back again and say we sold less, and because this was allocated, we have a right to claim this from a customer. I think we know we're not going to crack it in the industry if we're going to keep on doing that. I think we need to do things differently. Let's look at the issue of sales forecast. Let's be realistic. We have a negative growth in municipality, and it's 40% of your purchases in Eskom. But Eskom, you are still projecting more sales. I'm not sure where is that going to come from. But I think Eskom maybe will still explain that. So in essence, Chairperson, this slide is just not supporting this RCA. We don't believe at SALGA, we don't want to be technical about it, it's an emotional position. We don't think that customers should be punished because there was no sales or there was not enough sales. That's basically it. That's it from our side on the RCA. And with your permission, Chairperson, can I move to MYP4? In terms of MYP4, I'm going to briefly talk about the consultation, which I did talk about in my introduction. On the 27th of July in 2018, we received a letter from Eskom. Obviously, Eskom is to comply to the MFMA Section 42 on the consultation around its application. And we also went through our own internal consultation. So whatever we say is not what SALGA says, it's what municipalities say. And we hosted Eskom and municipalities in September, where we all have these very robust deliberations with Eskom. They're always constructive. Eskom also give us a lot of response around the issues we have or the questions we have, issues of clarity given also. And I think at the end of that workshop, we agreed with Eskom that we were going to send them our comments to the application, which we did. I must say this, Chairperson, that all was within the 40 days that is required by the MFMA. Most of our content of the document that we sent to Eskom was some issues or more issues of clarity, which hopefully NERSA will be able to ask Eskom, and Eskom will be able to respond to. As I said earlier when I was introducing my presentation, that it might have been the issue of time from Eskom's side not to be able to respond. But I think also the regulator has the mandate over Eskom, where Eskom is actually forced, I'm looking at that, forced to respond to the questions that are actually asked by the regulator. So I'm going to talk about the customer centricity. And I did say, I think even with us municipalities, if we're still going to increase tariffs with double digits at 15+%, we are not being customer centric. We can call customer centric all we want in our documents and application, but that is not customer centric. It means we are out of touch with the reality. And we know that the issue, we've talked about this, unemployment is still rising, and people who are employed and can afford are still living the grid. And this is what is happening in municipalities, and due to that, municipalities are unable to buy more from Eskom or even pay Eskom sometimes. So the commercial customers, I want to talk about that, especially with the disruption that is happening. And we see this happening a lot in the metros. A lot of these shopping malls are now moving off the grid, or even moving 80% 30% of what they used to buy from municipalities, and they are moving towards other sources of energy. And soon we're going to have storage. In other countries, storage is even being used through PPA setups where an entity will set up a storage and have a PPA with a commercial building of 10 or 15 years and then just supply them with electricity. So we're going to have that happening a lot, especially since we are expecting the prices of storage to go down very soon. So let's think about those things. You know, the change that is coming versus us wanting to try to increase tariffs to address the financial issues we have. Maybe it's justified that we have to increase electricity, but there's something we need to think hard about. Is the economy really allowing for this? I think that's the question that remained unanswered, but I did say that the government needs to revitalize the economy of South Africa so that there is soft landing against the ever increases of commodities and services. And right now there's no soft landing, it's hard landing for customers. And also Eskom refers to structural shifts in the country which would affect the sales volume. But we really didn't see that in the financial models of Eskom. Also, the document explicitly mentions initiatives to grow sales volume from customers. And I'm going to ask this question again, which customers are going to be buying more? Because the customers that we are targeting, the industries and the smelters, they're all in distress. And a bigger percentage of their input cost is electricity. We must think about that as well. In terms of the sales volumes and projections, so in the previous year, 2018-19 revenue application, it showed that how sales volume rebasing was required. And this is when actual volumes were on a decline since 2012. And projections of Eskom are still indicating a positive growth. And also municipalities are experiencing negative growth, and this number is at 2%. And I did say that it represents 40% of your revenue, Eskom. And if 40% of your revenue is actually experiencing a negative growth, they think differently of how you actually want to implement this ever-increasing prices. Some of the issues of clarity that hopefully will be able to be answered by Eskom will be in Durban with Eskom as well. Hopefully they will take notes of this and maybe answer in their presentation or maybe in their responses. But there are some of the questions we asked in our document that given that the actual sales volume of 2017-18 declined, is Eskom not of an enthusiastic to project growth of almost 1% on local sales for year one as well as for year three? And also, what could be the basis of Eskom to forecast 8.4% growth in international sales in year one on the back of a forecasted decline of 2.4%? So maybe Eskom can explain what has happened with this jump of the forecast of 8.4% when there was a forecast of a decline of 2.4%. And also, what could be the basis of Eskom's forecast of 3.8% growth in international sales in the year three? And the basis of the increase of 17.67% in the selling price of SPAs in year two. And as I said, Chairperson, I don't think maybe I want to go through all these questions.
You have 3 minutes, Mr. Ngudi.
Yes, because we did ask those questions to Eskom, and hopefully with the presentations we have with you, you'll be able to get those, impose those questions to Eskom, and for Eskom to respond to those. And I think I'm going to skip the depreciation parts of the application, but there were issues that we had around annual financial statements, which were talking different numbers, and the application talking different numbers. So there we were saying there's no alignment and it's a bit confusing. And I'm going to move on primary energy as well. We picked up a couple of discrepancies from the application and the annual financial statement as well. And also there were issues around Eskom's own generation costs not increasing on year 2 and 3, but There was an expected increase this year as well. And I think we also talked about, we need to understand how Eskom is actually going to, or maybe Eskom and government is actually going to manage the issue around the contracting on the coal, and also to address the issue of prices of coal. Because obviously, the industry or the market of coal as it is right now, it favors more the international players, and they are buying more of the coal, and Eskom obviously is left with the lower quality of the coal, and therefore even it's hard to even manage the issue of the contracts and reducing the prices of the coal. Because I have less time, I'm just going to move very quick. There were questions we had around imports as well, where Eskom expects about 25% increase in year one, but only 6% increase in the subsequent years. And also, the output is dropping by 20%, but the Eskom is actually expecting the increase of around 25%. And around IPPs, I think this one I'm going to just swift through, because we wanted to get clarity around the IPPs that are coming and their commercial operation and the effect of that in the application, so that we don't pay for something that really is not there yet. There were questions also we had around operations and maintenance. I think the panel already, asked Eskom the questions that we wanted to ask. There were issues around environmental levy as well, and we were asking Eskom why is the system average auxiliary is increasing over the years, and even why are the auxiliaries at 8%? Why just keep them at 5% or less? Cost containment, I think it's been talked about. I'm not going to stress on it, but I think we all agree that there still need to be more cost containment exercises that we have to go through as a country and not just Eskom. Going through to conclusion, I think we submit that in the current economic climate, the Eskom proposed tariff is way above the inflation. I know that Eskom has a particular argument around us making an argument on inflation. We understand that, but we still think it's way above the cost of living adjustments that are happening every year. So the cost of living is actually trailing behind, and the commodities are actually flying sky high. Also, we acknowledge the tariff rationalization that is being done by Eskom as part of the concessions that Eskom made with SALGA, and also we acknowledge the increases that are going to take place in municipalities as a category of the Eskom customers. And also, we think there is a need maybe for NERSA to consider more performance-based regulation. We don't know how to craft that, but we think maybe we need to be more, vigilant to Eskom's performance vis-a-vis what Eskom asks from us as the public, and Eskom needs to be made accountable for that. And I think I will just jump to the last one, that we appreciate and sympathize with Eskom financial challenges. Everyone is going through this, and we entrust the regulator, as the regulator has done in the previous years, to do the right decision, and the decisions will be in line with the Electricity Regulation Act, which amongst others must look at affordability, the universal access, and also to allow the efficient utility to recover its costs with reasonable margins. And I actually bolded the efficient purposely. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ngidi, for the presentation and also for the outline of issues that you are requesting the regulator to get clarity on from Eskom. If you have a piece of paper and the pen, I will check if you have any questions of clarity from the presentation.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Samuel, for the presentation. From my side, I think your presentation seems to point at the structural and systematic challenges that are being faced by Eskom, and therefore talking to the issues of policy review. as well as noting that I think that must be shared by the shareholder or owned by the shareholders, of course, and not necessarily belong to the customers. I take it that the NERSA management team will consider the issue of performance-based regulation that you raised, and that Eskom will respond to the questions indirectly raised to it by your presentation. On slide 8, you talk of the RCA needing to prescribe, but what if RCA were to be in favor of the customer? Because if you look at it, the way the methodology is that if you've got a fixed asset base and then you are pushing a lot of sales, then you then have a reduction. And therefore, one would say that in the beginning, if you properly forecast the sales, you then have a higher tariff, and therefore you then most likely go and have a RCA that are in favor of the customer. Why propose the scraping altogether? Also, you then have a situation where the issue here is about the regulatory asset base that has already been raised as in a situation where we've got the regulatory asset base going up, but the volumes going down. Definitely then you're having a situation where even your return will not be able to help you. So I'd just like you to respond on that. And then there's this slide 17, where I just want to ask on bullet 1 of slide 17. Are you proposing that there be indicative tariffs for a particular new project that Eskom seeks to embark upon prior to it being included in the asset base? And then on slide 25, on the issue of where you are looking at the debt spiral, and that the old argument that the electricity is very affordable compared to the rest of the world, that it is not well received. I think from my side, it's not a question of whether we receive it well or not, but it's a question of us being factual on it. So would you oblige where we say that maybe the same would apply also to Eskom itself, to say, should we have a comparative table to put this argument to rest and see where we stand? Because I think that is important for the public, or even the general public, to know where we stand with respect to the cost of electricity in the country. Yeah, and then the other thing is, maybe lastly from my side, is when it comes to you having any information that will talk to what you may deem to be the optimal tariff. Because one will take it that you will reach a situation where the tariff, irrespective of whether you increase it, it will not be able to compensate for the loss in volume to the extent that it will actually be, exacerbating the situation, pushing us into a debt spiral. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Mr. Fule, do you have any questions? Thank you very much, Mr. Smart.
Yeah, Chair, maybe one or two questions. So, with respect to the RCA, you come out clearly to say you don't support the application. However, you sort of like stated that it's more of an emotional decision, and what Eskom as indicated previously, is that look, they are simply applying the methodology as is, and which then requires us to, at a particular point in time, look back and see whether certain assumptions have materialized or not, and make those adjustments. So I think it's important for you as an organization to probably firm up that argument or that objection, because we are operating in a very legislated environment, and it will be difficult for us to take your argument purely based on emotion. I think you need to assist us as the regulator to, if you were to consider your objection, the basis thereof needs to be really firmed up. So
So there's a point that Eskom is making also in the application. This is with respect to municipal debt, which is increasing over the duration of the MRPD 4 application. And you're not saying anything around that. So I would have expected you to probably comment around the issues of municipal debt. What is it that as an organization we are doing? And as the CEO has indicated, I think they need all the help that they can get. And I think that's one part where you as an organization probably should be giving us an indication of what your views are with respect to this ballooning municipal debt. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Smart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Ngidi. I think, like you, I would like to know answers to the questions that you asked in your presentation. So perhaps, with your indulgence, Madam Chair, at some point Eskom can provide some of those answers so that we understand where things are. But the one thing though that the message that seems to be getting from your presentations is it appears to me almost like frustration with Eskom as your major supplier. And you mentioned a few things, industry structure no longer working, SALGA is supporting municipalities who are trying to get off grid power, solar voltaic, and that sort of thing. But also the issue of customers not paying municipalities, and then municipalities not paying Eskom. The question that I just need to understand though is, in your engagement with Eskom, is there no understanding from Eskom or appreciation of you as a major customer? And I'll give an example. You're saying you're projecting decline of 2% in your electricity volumes, yet Eskom is ignoring that. And what's the point of consulting if your views are not taken into account? And do you find that, is it for that reason that you find that Eskom is overstating the sales? Is there other methodologies that can be used? Should there be strengthening in maybe rules to ensure that Eskom does take your views into account as opposed to to just meeting for the sake of meeting, and your views being ignored? So I think that's the first question. What's the point of the consultation? But maybe something that's allied to that. And I know you mentioned it in relation to the RCA. Do you think there's a problem with, I think, the regulatory regime in South Africa? I know you mentioned that perhaps we need to relook at other alternative performance-based regulation and that, and maybe we can engage a little bit more. Why is it that there are no market signals? Why is it that, in your mind, that I know in your slide you said the RCA is dominated by sales, and you don't support the RCA, but it appears that somehow our methodology doesn't allow Eskom to obtain market signal to say revenue or demand has dropped, reduce costs. Remember, all the claim that arises out of lower sales, all Eskom is saying is, we spend the money, we're maintaining capacity, we're maintaining costs on the basis of what we thought the sales were going to be. Now sales have dropped, we're still keeping those costs, so customers, you paying. It's your burden to carry. is there something in the manner in which we're regulating that's not providing the appropriate market signal to an important operator? And how do we know that? And how do you think we should give that market signal to Eskom, say, in the new MYPD 4 application? How should we be getting, say, Eskom to say, please act very soon as you understand that customers are going off grid or your sales is dropping? Don't keep your costs as they are and expect either higher RCA or higher tariff. How do you, in terms of solution, how do you think we should deal with this? And then the next issue is I think most of this will be covered in the questions that you are asking. Why is that Eskom is ignoring the questions that you're raising? Or maybe let's leave it at that, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Modise. Mr. Ngidi, you've got 5 minutes to get straight to the questions.
Thank you, Chairperson. I think I'm going to start at the back. Those questions that are still fresh in my mind. Just to emphasize on market signals, maybe it's not 100% true that there are no signals. Because the previous year, Eskom does experience some signals on the sales, but still project more, which is something we don't understand. We really don't comprehend that, because there are those kind of signals that show you that this is what's happening in the market. You know what's happening in the industry. You know what's happening in your sales in certain customer categories that you have. And once you get those realities, you should try very hard to actually align, because it's the next or the closest reality you have. But we still get more forecasting, that doesn't talk to the reality.
What is the problem? What is the problem? I think also the question relates to the problem that is, or challenge that is there perhaps in the methodologies, or maybe not the methodology, but maybe the understanding, or is it the understanding of Eskom, that if they come to NERSA and say, we will achieve X amount of sales, and for us to achieve X amount of sales, we will have to have the energy availability at 80%, and we'll have to produce X amount, right? So, is it the understanding of Eskom that simply because they've put it right up there, and therefore they are entitled to it without accountability as to their performance? Because if you are given a revenue, it's an allowed revenue, you are given the right to earn it, not to be entitled to the revenue that is there. So is it a question of maybe flawed methodology, or is it an issue of an understanding from Eskom to say, well, we are entitled to it, so that is why we'll always focus at a higher level, so that when we come back we say, we didn't achieve the X amount, there's a gap, and therefore we must get it. Is that the issue here?
I think my answer would be in twofold. I think, one, maybe we need more flexibility in the methodology to take cognizance of the realities. But two, also, I think exactly what you said, for us, which is why I'm going back to Mr. Sibanda's question around emotional position. Because we've been talking about the issues around, incorrect forecasting for the past 4 or 5 years, but it still remains. And, for us, it's that, getting to that point where we think maybe just Eskom is just being a little bit, I don't know if it's the right word if I say naughty or something, but I think that's what is coming in my mind, because we know the reality, the signals are there, as much as they might not be as close to reality as possible, but there is that little bit of a signal in the previous year of how you did with your sales. You can't be projecting more when you know what happened in the previous year. The previous year is not a very long time. I think there's a little bit of both that we need to look at. More flexibility in the methodology to look at realities and adjust, and then maybe for Eskom to be, held more accountable about this, incorrect forecast. Because I've been with SALGA for over 4 years. Every time I come here, I always complain about correct forecasting. There's something wrong there.
Do you think that is there anything that needs to be done in the methodology to make it even much clearer to everyone that if we said you are going to get X amount of revenue, that revenue is not guaranteed, it's not yours, you must earn it. So if you haven't performed to achieve that revenue, don't think that that's what you will get or you are entitled to. Is there something that is not clear in the methodology that needs to be clarified to Eskom so that these overstated assumptions can then be resolved or addressed?
Thank you, Chairman. I think I won't have a specific answer, but I would say that as Salga municipalities would be happy to work with NERSA to look at that. Because hence we actually suggesting a performance-based regulation maybe to be more entrenched in the methodology itself. But we don't have specifics at this point. But we are happy to work with the industry, Eskom and NERSA to have a look if something that is if it's something that is considered in terms of that performance-based regulation. Okay, I'm going to go to the arguments on the cost of electricity. I think we discussed that with Eskom even in our workshop. And our argument is always, when you say electricity maybe in Kenya is much more expensive than in South Africa, what we always ask Eskom is look at the access levels. The access levels of electricity in South Africa is 90%. And on that 90%, you have different categories of customers in terms of their income levels. But in Kenya, you don't have a choice. If you can't afford electricity, you won't have it. Hence, their access levels is at 20% or less. So our government policy also is different to other government policies like you have in Kenya. They will remain in that 20% access for a long time because they are striving to actually be up there with the prices of electricity. And there's less access, and this is why in our argument we say 90% access means you'll have more different income levels within your customers, and that will means there is a lot of cross-subsidization that happens. But in other countries, you don't find those cross-subsidization that you'll find in South Africa because of the high access of electricity, which is a government policy. There was a question around any information that may assist to have optimal tariff to look at the debt spiral. I think a year ago I did present that Salga was commissioning a study on the impact assessment of MYPD3. Obviously, it's talking to MYPD3 and its RCAs, and that study is actually being finalized. We are going through a final assessment of the report from the consultant, and I think once we have that, we'll be able to share with the regulator some of the recommendations and the findings that we have there. There are policy recommendations, there are regulatory framework recommendations, and there are several recommendations around how the methodology should be looked at and what needs to happen in the future. And we are happy to share that with NERSA as we finalize the study. And I think I hear the concern from Mr. Sibanda, the regulator member, that we must firm up the rejection. And I think this is why I said it up front that there's no how we can be technical about the issue of sales, because it's always our painful point between the discussions between us and Eskom. And I know at this point in time, we know that in the next 2 to 3 years, we're not going to have increases in the sales of electricity. Maybe let's look at, do we still need to have a component of sales in the RCA? Or if we have it, let's have a look at it and how we are now that. That's how I can actually respond to that now. Let's look at the sales, because we know that, in accordance with the sales or with regards to sales, the customers in the next 3 to 5 years are not going to have a benefit in the RCA. If anyone differs, they can tell me why they think that. In terms of what can we say about the municipal debt, I did allude to the fact that we are working with Eskom and government, because I think government has realized that the issue of debt is now a government problem. It's not just an Eskom problem, it's not a SALGA problem, but we are working, we have task team between Eskom and SALGA and municipalities, where we have identified some of the key issues and key challenges that are taking place in municipalities, some of them being revenue management and collection, issues of metering and prepaid management, and prepaid metering, issues of capacity building in municipalities, providing capacity in municipalities to be able to respond to, the operational requirements of their departments. So we are working together with Eskom and government to look and address all the issues that we've identified as key challenges that are a cause to the debt issue. But it's not just that. There is an issue around the citizens of the country, changing their mindsets around paying for services rendered, because that's the problem we have also. There are cases where customers really cannot pay, but we have a lot of customers also that can pay but do not, because of maybe the mindsets that we created. I'm not sure if it's that, but we have done some audits in municipalities where we found customers like Spa, they have breached the meter. And what kind of an attitude is that from a customer? We've gone through industries, small industrial customers that have breached meters or have middled or fiddled with the meter to actually run slower. So this is actually why I'm saying it's not just the customers that cannot afford that are stealing electricity. It's just that sickness that we have currently in the country around.
Mr. you only have a minute.
Thank you. I'm just checking if there is any other question that I have left out. There was a question around depreciation. My apologies, Chairperson, I forgot what was it about.
Can you please provide some of the questions in writing, further clarity in writing, including the one that was asked by Mr. Sibanda, because you seem to have some more details on it as to how SALGA is tackling the issue of municipal debt.
Thank you very much.
All right, we are going to break for lunch. I was hoping that I'm going to take Mr. Ted Blom to present before lunch, but I think it would be good if we can have him start right after lunch break, so that we can still be kept awake and the audience to be awake. And we've got a massive task when we come back after the break, Mr. Ted Blom, to keep the audience alive. Thank you very much. I'm going to break for lunch.